Hey y'all, my name is Jan, and welcome to the first official episode of Don't Mind the Mess. Like I said, my name is Jan, and I am your host for this podcast. I'm so excited. I've wanted to start a podcast for a while now. I love to talk, I love to listen, I like communication, I feel like. So I feel like this is a spot for me. Um, I am on like I've always wanted to do something like this. I feel like right now this will be audio only podcast, and maybe in the future we can get a camera going. But right now it's just audio. And the purpose of this podcast is just me talking about things that I find interesting because it's my podcast. um, don't mind the mess. The name literally comes from, I feel like sometimes my mind is a mess. I have ADHD accusations out there, no confirmed diagnosis, so I don't claim anything. Um, but yeah, this is just a space for me to talk about my latest obsession without probably annoying everyone else in my life. Some things you know about me is I'm 28 years old, almost 29. I'm a black woman and I live in Oklahoma, so I would say go a team, but I didn't go to any major university, so I have no alliances to anybody. And I feel like that's kind of rare in the state of Oklahoma, but Sooner Boomer rivalry with Texas, it's a lot going on here. And it's definitely different if you don't have allegiance to any side or the other. But um that's just a short introduction to myself. I'm pretty sure as I film more episodes and go on, you guys will learn more about me, and I think that's pretty cool and pretty sick. Uh, Today's episode is just me talking about things that I might want to talk about in the sense of I want to talk about the internet today. That is where I spend probably 80% of my time, maybe even like 75. I won't say 90 because, I'm an adult, I have a job, I go to work, all that stuff. Um, but like I said, I'm 28 years old and I've been using the internet since I was probably like 7. That's pretty young, but that's when I was like 7, 8 in there. Um, my older sibling was a big influence on me into like video game culture. And so at a very young age, I loved video games, and that moved into like the realm of like online gaming, obviously, and even just like CD-ROM gaming back in the day. You go to Walmart and buy your game and go home and play it. Did a lot of that. I grew up with like a Sega Genesis, and I grew up with a PlayStation 1 and 2, and I love gaming. But the whole point of this conversation is to roll it back into the internet. I spent a lot of time on there because I love, like I said, CD-ROM games, and eventually it turned into, oh, let me see what games there are online. And I feel like I've been like hooked on the internet since like 4th grade or 5th grade, whatever age you are in those grades. And the reason I remember it so vividly is because I got my first laptop in 5th grade, and I know that sounds like amazing and like who would have thought, but now I look at 5th graders and I'm like, oh my God, I had a computer at that age. Not only that, like, maybe it was like the next year, maybe it was like 6th grade, I had just like internet access. I was just on the internet, like, it's present. My presence was on the internet, and it's been on the internet ever since. And so my digital footprint is actually insane. If you see something, I said it probably at a very young age. I probably don't hold that same belief. I was a kid online screaming for attention sometimes, and I was willing to do stupid stuff, in my opinion, to do that. Just like most kids. I feel like most kids are the same way now on the internet, but they're, 13 and 14. Meanwhile, here I am, 5th grade, trying to like make a MySpace page and a Facebook page. Like, that's insane to think about now at my big age. I can understand why I wasn't supposed to have access to those things, because people are actually crazy online. And I can't say I'm absolved of responsibility for being crazy online, because I have also been insane online. As a child, of course, I don't have like a huge digital footprint. I was just hanging out, Facebook, like I said, Facebook and MySpace, making my top friends list and doing all these other things. Super cool, super fun, hee hee ha ha. I even have an old Twitter account that I don't remember the password to, so it just exists. I know for sure I said some crazy things on there when I was like in 6th or 7th grade. Pretty sure I said some insane things. But no matter what it says, like, I have to realize that I was a child, and that makes it crazier. But then when I get into my teen years, I was also online, and more chronically than I ever was before. And people think I'm chronically online right now, like, as an adult. As a teenager, I was, my ear was to the street of the internet. If there was a meme, I was on it same day. Now, at least as an adult, there's like maybe a 2-day delay. Like, I had to Google what 6-7 meant. Insane for me to do that at this age, I feel like. But I feel like my age is so weird because I'm an elder Gen Zer, but some Gen Zers will see me as like a mini millennial. And honestly, it all depends on what we're talking about, where I fall on that fence. But I feel like primarily I fall into the elder Gen Z role best. Because I'm still on the internet, ear is still to the street, like I said. It still is to this day. But in a very, not invisible way, but just I feel like in a better way. I feel like I'm gaining a better relationship with the internet now that I'm an adult. I know I'm building, let me stop there. I know I'm building a better relationship with the internet now as an adult. Because as a teenager, I was definitely in stan culture heavy deep. Like, insane almost. Like, I mean, I am, like, Tumblr. Okay, I'm a victim. I'm a victim of the 2014, 15, 16 Tumblr world. I'm a victim, babes, okay? I was up till like 2, 3 in the morning on Tumblr, scrolling. I was setting a queue up while I was at school. Yeah. I had a queue up. Q and I, all right? Yep, directioner here, former directioner, recovering directioner, okay? I'm going to be so real with you, recovering directioner. But I used to set up a queue because I thought I was just so interesting. I wrote fan fiction. And while the fan fiction portion is embarrassing, mind you, I feel like it made me a better writer. So, props up to that. It, maybe critical thinking took place there. Fan fiction is a creative outlet. It is a creative outlet, and that is what I'm sticking to on that subject. But yeah, me and the internet, we go way back. And I feel like sometimes that ancient text is lost, Like, I'm seeing things online, and it's kind of like some memes making their way back again. Like I mentioned 6-7 a little earlier. 6-7, yes, is a good meme, but it's the same as 21. You see? The subject may change, but the ancient text is always there, Probably in 10 years we're going to have also like not the bite of 87. Hold on, let me I am not a Five Nights at Freddy's person. That just popped in my head. But let's say in 5 years it's going to be another meme, and it's going to be a double-digit number. I believe in that so heavily. Like, everything just repeats itself, but take it back to the ancient text, Also, as a teen on the internet, I was so mean. Like, it's never that serious, babes. Like, I look at the things that I was saying and the things that I was doing, and I'm just like, it's never been that serious. There's a lot of self-reflection that has to take place when you turn like 25, I feel like. Like, some of the things I was saying were only for attention and only for people to like me, and I don't like that anymore. I don't operate for people to like me. You don't have to like me. It's fine if you don't, in fact. It's chill if you don't. But if you didn't like me when I was a teenager and I was online, like, it was the worst thing to ever happen to me. I cared so much about everybody's opinions, and it's not like, I care about people's opinions in real life, and I see these people every day. I'm caring about people's opinions that I have never seen and have constant access to me, which is insane. But you grow and you learn. The embarrassments help a little bit. There's so many things that happen whenever, like I said, I really do feel like the synapse starts snapping at 25. Like, I feel like I'm just way more aware of like what I'm doing in my life. And that's kind of what this podcast is for, is I'm piecing together not who I am anymore. I feel like I'm pretty good about who I am, but what I want to do, the things that I'm interested in. And I feel like sometimes I go on these, sometimes I go on these like one-way trips into things, and I want to express it to everybody I know and share my knowledge on these topics, but I literally can't because no one else is interested in what I'm saying. Or even if they are interested in what I'm saying, it's like I don't want to bother people. So I feel like I'm able to talk about whatever I want for however long I want in audio format and just upload it. And then if you also want to hear about that and you don't have anyone else to talk to about it, you can listen. That's what I use a lot of like my podcast listening time on. There are so many things that I love and I'm interested in that I want to hear more about it, and because no one else around me is talking about it. So I go and I seek those out so that way I can also hear someone else's opinion on it. And it's whether they agree with me or not, I want to hear their opinion on the topic. Like my next episode, my next episode is definitely going to be, this sounds so stupid because I feel like this is so drawn out and long, but my next episode is definitely going to be about One Direction. If you couldn't tell, I love One Direction, but being a fan of One Direction is insufferable. Like, they are terrible. And please don't. like now right now I'm scared. I'm like, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but no, like most of us are adults now and most of us need to start using our brain. But that is beside the point. That has nothing to do with this episode here. This episode is supposed to be my introduction and just like, describing the podcast and just describing my history, like I said, online, because I plan on talking about most things I see online. But also just most things that like I said, don't mind the mess. Like what I think about, like it could be a completely serious topic one day and the next day it could be about cats. Cause I also have cats. I'm a cat mom. So it's honestly whatever I'm feeling, whatever I'm thinking, I'll be picking up the mic and talking about it for maybe 10, 15 minutes. So if that is something that interests you, just taking a deep dive into a random topic for a short period of time, this would be the podcast for you. You may find things you're interested in and you may find things that you are not interested in. And that's okay. In the famous words of Wendy Williams, not everything is for everybody. But this podcast episode is going to be a couple minutes shorter than what, I would want. But I did want to get this up and out there just to honestly rip the Band-Aid off and get something out there. Because I feel like I've been procrastinating and I want to get in the groove. And I feel like once that happens, more episodes will come more easily. It'll be easier for me to talk, easier for me to write out a script and do all those things. But because right now I'm just going off of bullet points and then going off on tangents. So, but yeah, that's going to be it for the first episode. Just wanted to say hi, introduce myself, and just get this out there. If this is something that interests you, this will probably live on YouTube right now, but I'll probably upload clips to my TikTok and Instagram. Those links will be in the description of this video, so you can go there and watch them, but it'll live here on YouTube for right now, just until I figure out how to even do this, in a more not complicated, but do more of this and put it other places. But yeah, so if you would like, please subscribe to the channel and there will be more episodes. But yeah, you guys have a good rest of your day, and yeah, just don't mind the mess I have going on right now.